I think with Andy, I don't think I've ever seen anybody who doesn't want to stop being a tennis player as much as him. And I think that really gets everybody in the stadium. He's done all this stuff. He's meant this much to a nation. He's won everybody over. And nobody's got a bad word to say about him inside that stadium. But you can't change the fact that it's over as a tennis player for him, all but. And he can't dress that up. It's sad for him.
Yeah, when he said, I wish I could have played forever, did that not get you?
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. It's tough being. It's wonderful, isn't it? You know, they have these incredible lives and these incredible highs. But my mind always goes back to when Andy Murray sort of retired for the first time, we thought, in Australia. And I'll never forget Andy Roddick saying to me, your best interview, your biggest moment of your career might still be ahead of you. And for us, it doesn't really matter what we do. It's not ahead of us. We've had an incredible high that people like you will never know, but it's gone. And we only have the memories now. And we only have the videos, and it's tough. It's these athletes. It's really tough, and it's tough for all the people who care about them. He gets you, Andy Murray. There's no question about it, and I can understand. Everybody I've spoken to is incredibly emotional about it, and I've often tried to wonder what is it about Murray that gets people like that. But he does, for sure.
It's the human among superhumans thing that Matt touched upon the other night, I think, and Jonathan Liu once wrote an incredible piece about and many others have too. It's the fact that he's achieving completely and has achieved completely unrelatable things whilst being relatable.
Yeah, well put.
And I think, look, I know I probably relate too hard, because I realised today, you know, 2005 was my first Wimbledon as well. It was not the first time I camped on the street without a tent, but it was the first time I worked here as a ball store assistant, dressed as an adult ball girl, collecting balls from the practice courts. So yeah, my first Wimbledon was the same as Andy Murray's first Wimbledon. We're the same age. You know, my career has completely coincided with his, and the unspoken thing when we talk about sporting mortality is that we're talking about mortality, right? All the language is the same. It's thinly veiled, but it's all there. And yeah, it feels like pretty profound stuff.
Yeah, you're not just saying goodbye to Andy Murray as a tennis player, you're kind of saying goodbye to who you were when you were watching Andy Murray as a tennis player. And we've all spent so long watching and thinking about these players, and you know, there are always new exciting players coming along, but you can't just replace 15-20 years worth of investment into someone. And you know, when it's their goodbye, it's kind of our goodbye as well. And I thought that was perfection tonight from Wimbledon. That video, oh my God,
Yeah.
having
Whoever made that video,
Oh.
I'm sure they're not watching, because this is far too low production values for them. Sorry, cameraman Matthew, this is you're doing sterling work, but that video was something else, wasn't it? It's a tough man and a tough career to try and sum up in a 5-minute video, and they nailed it.
Yeah, and having Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, who, you know, have obviously been the defining players of Andy Murray's career along with him, and then Venus as well as someone who stands for so much of what Andy Murray stands for, I thought was perfection. And it was almost like they were welcoming Murray in to a club that they know about. Look, I know Novak Djokovic isn't retired, I know Rafa Nadal isn't retired, I know Venus Williams isn't retired, but you know, they've all contemplated it in the same way that Murray is now, and it was kind of like, you now know something that we know. And yeah, it was just very, special.
Another reference which will absolutely mark my age as being exactly the same age as Andy Murray, but it was like the end scene in Titanic, where she's climbing the stairs, the staircase.
Yeah, and
towards the ones that have already climbed
exactly.
the great staircase of heaven.
Yeah, no, it was, and I hadn't appreciated how much vomit was going to be in Andy Murray's speech, and how sort of important vomiting has been in Andy Murray's career and his major moments.
In the words of someone on the barge, and I'm so sorry I can't give this person credit because I read this comment just moments before we were coming on air, but somebody on the barge just pointed out that we might have been experiencing post-puke Andy Murray for the last 15 years.
That's why it's been so good.
Yeah, exactly. Just a few more moments, I think, on the ceremony, which I agree was absolute perfection. Andy Murray's face when Sue Barker walked out.
Oh, Sue Barker.
That was a stroke of genius for it
had
to be Sue Barker. Yeah, absolutely.
She's been there at all the major Murray moments, really.
It was wonderful. And just to clarify for anybody watching, she wasn't being booed. They were chanting Sue.
Yeah.
Sue Barker would never be booed in this country or any country, quite frankly.
It was the great warmth and a great opportunity for people to remind Sue how much she's meant to them. In this country, she is the person that we associate with this tournament for the last 30 years and a couple of generations really of tennis, and as you say, with Andy in particular, and I think he trusts her. I think she feels just very close to him in terms of history, and she was very emotional 2 years ago when she had to call time on her Wimbledon career as a broadcaster. She's having a great life, I'm sure, and when it's wonderful to see her, but she misses it. She misses that job. You can't do it forever, but it's a reminder for us all, isn't it? That it's fleeting, really, and we just try and make the most of it while we got it.